Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.
This review is brought to you in part by Dean's Hobby Stop in Owasso, Michigan. Dean's has one of the Midwest's largest selections of used kits at great prices. They also feature new kits and supplies as well. Call Dean's to get their mail order list featuring hundreds of vintage kits, or check their website for great deals on both new and classic models. Here's the box art for the U.S. Navy tanker Kennebec class fleet oiler from Lindberg at 125 scale. This model kit is number HL438 in the catalog. In World War II, the fleet oiler was crucial to the success of the Allied war effort, and this review covers the re-release of the U.S. Navy tanker Kennebec class fleet oiler, Lindberg model at 125 scale, number HL438. It's been released a couple times, and this box art features artwork from the original 1959 issue. It's basically the same kit in the current round 2 catalog, and it's suitable for skill level 2 modelers aged 10 and over. In the box you get about 37 parts. They're all molded in medium gray and a reel of thread type rigging material. It features a one-piece hull and deck and has cartograph decals for 5 different ships. It's made in the U.S. to boot, and the instructions are simply one-page exploded diagrams with color callouts on the backside for 2 versions. The finished dimensions are 12 inches long, 1.6 inches wide, and 3.5 inches tall. Excuse me, this is 1/525 scale. Here's a forward starboard view of the kit after it's finished. As you can see, it makes a nice display. It's a basic kit. You get 2 sprues and the hull and deck and the instruction set, but it makes for a nice model when you're done. You have to understand that this is 1959 tooling. Lindberg's done a good job of updating the kit with nice cartograph graphics decals, but you're going to find some issues like, ejector pin marks, some flash, and some overmolds that need to be addressed. A little bit of work and they'll come out just fine. There's a slight mismatch up here on one of the decks where the catwalk enters it, but a little bit of work and you'd be able to fill that in for a contest model. There's some extra parts in this kit, like this bulkhead with the battery holder, as well as a couple of end caps for the battery that were available when these kits used to offer the motorized versions. Here are the end caps. They won't be used, and you can discard them or use them for scratch build projects. Now gather the hull and the deck for assembly, and remember to glue those pieces into place slowly from one end to the other using some super glue for strength. I add a little modeling putty here at the point where the hull meets the superstructure to eliminate those gaps. There's an ejector pin mark on the rudder, which I filled in as well. And you'll also want to fill in the joints there where the rudder parts are mated to the hull. Now we're going to paint the upper deck portions deck blue, which is kind of like a grayish blue. Next we're going to tape off the lower hull and paint that with some anti-fouling red. Now peel off the tape and reveal the nice clean hull line there on your model. I spray painted the display stand feet with a gold color to stand out. Spray paint all the vertical surfaces on the ship with a light gray color. Then assemble the deck sections pieces so that you can put those together next. I used a silver pencil to highlight the ship's railings all around the ship. I also used a silver pencil to highlight the fuel lines and oil pipelines on top of the deck. Assemble the pieces of the midsection superstructure with the life rafts and cannon. Here are front and rear views of the midsection superstructure after it's assembled. The radar mast that's provided for this kit is actually molded incorrectly. The D plug that goes into the socket for the deck is sideways, and the item on the right there is the correct orientation. So drill that out so that you can glue it in the proper orientation later. Now assemble all the pieces for the rear superstructure, which includes the exhaust stack, the life rafts, the anti-aircraft guns, and cannon. Here's a top view of the rear deck with the cannon extended off the right end there. Now assemble the forward cannon and deck structure. This is actually placed at the end of the forward catwalk. Now you can attach the deck structures to the main top deck. The left side shows the stack structure and the midsection structure here. Here's a closer view of the rear substructure with the exhaust stack in place. Now assemble the two catwalks that will be installed onto the deck. Notice that the vertical surfaces are light gray and the deck surfaces are deck blue. Use the locating holes and posts for the catwalks and place those on the main deck. They go in there pretty well, but there is that one misalignment that you see on the rear catwalk. But that's okay. After they're in place, they're pretty solid. Now assemble the forward cannon to the forward cannon deck and place that on the abutment there at the forward end of the forward catwalk. Here's what that would look like. You can also place the other cannons on the foredeck, the two that are side by side there. Now gather all the masts and the booms and paint those light gray as they're all above deck, and glue them into place on the deck in the appropriate slots and holes. As you see here, all the masts and booms are in place, and she's starting to look like a real ship now. Paint the anchors flat black and put those into position on the slots at the fore end of the deck there. The main prop is painted brass, and the rounded post goes towards the aft end. The other post goes into a hole there just in front of the rudder. So put that into place now. And also take your silver pencil and go over any of the railings, or alternatively you could buy some replacement items such as photo etch railing and cut those out and use those for even more authenticism. Now you can add the gold display stands to the two holes in the bottom of the hull, and essentially the plastic portion of your build is finished. Now it's time to add the decals and rigging to your ship, and the decals are great cartograph units, and they come off easily and they stick pretty well. You just need to choose the number and ship that you want to replicate. But it also comes with a spool of thread, which I've always found difficult to use for rigging. So I used an aftermarket product here called Easy Line, which is available online, and you can be made to look very much better with the use of Easy Line because it stretches and doesn't sag on your deck. Here the decals are shown in place on the ship, along with the Kennebec emblem in the back, which I chose to use for this particular ship's livery. Once the decals have been placed, spray the overall ship with some flat matte spray, starting with some light mist coats and then adding a couple of wet coats to give it a good flat finish overall. Now apply the main rigging, and as you can see, this is a great subject matter kit that I give Lindberg kudos for putting this out for World War II fans and naval fans. But I think you're going to find that this model goes together easily and has a nice look to it when you're finished on the shelf. We hope that you like this step-by-step tutorial, and so that you don't miss any issues, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But you can also find us on Facebook and on the web at www.rightonreplicas.com. Thanks.